Hi, welcome. On this video, I like to answer the question as to what is the role of physical force, and is that even the right definition based on relationship when it comes to dogs as social animals. And the answer is that's not the right definition. Okay, that comes from, again, this appearance-based narrative that attempts to paint a picture through learning that change is actually happening with motivating dogs to respond, dogs that are already holding control. So when you hear the word physical force used by those who are sold out to this ideology, understand that they're taking it out of context. They use certain language to misrepresent it in a way to continue to market and sell this inherently flawed narrative. So not only is physical force the wrong definition, the right way to think of influence, okay, which is the right definition to use, is, again, using my example of the parent-child example in terms of asking the question, how do you establish right relationship with a child in the context of establishing parental influence? How does that actually happen? Well, it's through advocating, number one, the right parenting style, and getting the parent, or having the parent, or you as the parent, okay, investing in and interacting in specific ways that's going to fade you into the relationship the right way. Okay, so again, you look at this this system of training in terms of, number one, making sure the dog owner is actually going to fade in, okay, is establishing the process based on specific interaction. So it's interaction based again on how a dog's decision-making process is governed. And so the context of influence, okay, it intersects, okay, these interactions. Okay, so it is a necessary ingredient, but it comes online in such a way, in a proactive way, that makes sense to the dog, okay, through how a dog's decision-making process is governed. And the dog is motivated, okay, there's the context of a motivated to come into agreement with it, okay, so based on what it represents at that level. So again, this is a hard, difficult issue for many people, because they have a certain way of thinking in terms of what's popular, okay? But again, I encourage people to really think about, about being a parent. Do you just, again, think about the problems happening right now in the dog training world. Do you just enter into a relationship problem with a already selfish child? There's your kicker right there. Just like a dog already holding control. Do you just advocate using a motivator, okay, to build a picture that way it's just at a response level, without encouraging, say, the dog owner to invest in and interact in specific ways? Now, don't get me wrong, through the relationship, there's interactions already happening, okay? So even when you look at how it is that people can invest in a certain level of this learning narrative and it not be a problem for them, it's based on a relationship, okay? It's based on that individual, their personality type. And so that's the little twist, okay, that but again, it's very it's very predictable. Just understand, it's not that it's only confusing to those who are overly invested in this narrative to begin with, okay, and they can't understand what's going on. But to anyone who sees the problem, who is separate from it, can see exactly how these dynamics play out and why they play out that they're the way that they do. So, but again, I encourage people to think about the context of influence, okay? It's not what the majority of people think of what it is, even in terms of, a correction, okay? And that takes more of a reactive stance, okay, through what's called balance training. And then if you mix that in with this kind of cocktail of learning, okay, this is why there's a spectrum and you get all this confusion, but you get, again, leave the door wide open for many, many dogs to continue to hold control in the process. So again, the right terminology is influence. And again, reconciling that with a the proper process, which the dog comes into agreement with. So thanks for watching.